Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is Go Again, a fabulous video cast covering the trading card game Flesh and Blood. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hello my fabulous friends, and welcome to Go Again, a fabulous cast. I'm Andrew with you here as always, and thanks for tuning in today. So back in September, and man, does that feel like forever ago, let me tell you what. But back in September, I released a video targeted towards new players, which was how to take an IRA welcome deck, which is free at your LGS, or supposed to be free at your LGS, right? And how to trick it out for about $10 into a playable Blitz deck. And while I still think that video is valid and that list is valid and a great starting point for new players, there's been a lot of things that have changed in the world and the fab world since then, right? We've had, first off, the IRA welcome decks are hard to find and they're actually pretty expensive, so that's not necessarily the greatest starting point anymore. Furthermore, just the basics of this is we've seen a lot of IRA becoming quite good. We've learned a lot of things through the way that the very smart people have developed the IRA decks, so we've got those to go off of. And then fundamentally, basically if it's not on the internet and it's not brand new, people kind of miss it. So doing kind of a reinvigoration of this, I think is worthwhile as well. So today what I want to do is go through a budget Blitz deck for IRA. Alright guys, so now before we get into this, I did want to clarify what I mean by a budget deck. The requirements of this deck is that every card in here is a rare or lower. Now obviously you may have access to other cards that are better, and there's some obvious equipment improvements that we can make, like the Mask of Momentum and stuff like that, right? But I wanted to be very straightforward here, very streamlined here, that everything was a rare or lower. Now they do cross all sets, and I do grant you that even these days it can be hard to find some of the CRU rares. But my friends over at Fab Foundry, they're where I get my singles from. You can peruse their site. They do have a lot of the CRU rares and commons still in stock, so you can go check that out there, or trade with your buddies or whatever, right? So let's go ahead and get right into the list. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to run through the list real quick, and then I want to hit on some important things of why they're in there, why I went with them this way, and kind of some basic strategy on how to play the deck, and then we'll wrap it up and get out of here. So what I'm showing up right now is the list. So for red, we have 2 Crane Dance, 2 Flick Flack Defense React, 2 Flying Kick, good one in this deck, 2 Head Jabs, 2 Razor Reflex, 2 Rushing Rivers, 2 Soulbead Strikes, 2 Snatch, and 2 Torrent of Tempo. So you'll notice that there's a pretty good amount of red in here. We also have yellow, Bittering Thorns, Crane Dance, Flick Flack, Sink Below, that's your Defend React as well, Salt the Wound, awesome card, and Soulbeak Strike. And then for blue, we have Crane Dance, Flick Flack, Head Jab, Rushing River, Soulbead Strike. For the weapons, we're running 2 Harmonized Kodachis, and we're also packing Needle in case we want to get fancy, right? Remember in Blitz, we have plenty of room to pack extra stuff. For equipment, we have Breaking Scales, Best of the First Fist, Ironroot Helm, Snapdragon Scalers, and then the full Neuron package, just in case we need it, because we do have room for it. All right, so let's touch on basically the overall strategy of this. Is you're going to start with both of your Harmonized Kodachis most of the time. In some matches, you will go with the Needle, or may want to go with the Needle, but you're always going to run 1 Kodachi and 1 Needle, or most of the time, I think you're going to go with 2 Kodachis. Right, so the Kodachi, of course, as long as you have that 0 pitch in there, you get to go again on it. So the obvious thing here is we're running a bunch of blue 3-pitch zeros, right? Crane Dance, Flick Flack, Head Jab, Rushing River, Soulbeak. They've all got your zeros for you. Now you will notice that there are only 10 blue cards in here, which is a quarter of your deck. But remember that as the game goes on, you are going to be pitching your blues, so your deck percentage, your deck population will become a greater and greater percentage of blue generally as the game goes on, right? That doesn't mean you're never defending with a blue or anything like that, but most of the time that's going to be your engine for doing your jab, jab, punch, or whatever it may be. Okay, so as a general rule here, what we're trying to do is pitch, get a stab in with a Kodachi, get a stab in with a Kodachi, and then play some sort of attack that if we play the right attack and if we've arsenaled correctly or whatever, we may be able to combo into it. Right, so I have gone with the primary combo here, right, is the Soul Bead Strike into Crane Dance. Now, if Soul Bead hits, it gets Go Again, and then you can Crane Dance. Another very, very, very important key in this deck is the Flying Kick. Now, this is a 2 cost, which means that this is why we're running Fist, right, or Vest of the First Fist, right? So the whole plan here is that you would get some other attack in. Now, do remember, for Vest of First Fist, it has to be an attack action card, so your Kodachis won't trigger it, right? So you have some other attack action, maybe a Soul Bead, something like that. It hits, you First Fist, boom, into Flying Kick, and you're swinging for a ton. We also have Torrent of Tempo. We're running that in just its red version. If it hits, it gains Go Again. Not too bad. And then again, you've got some other pretty tricky yellow cards that, again, you can remember, we do have some yellow 0 pitches that you could yellow to pitch if that's just what you were stuck with to get a jab, jab in with your Kodachis if you have to. But we have Bittering Thorns, very, very good in this type of deck where you're getting multiple attacks. And you also have Salt the Wound, which is also can be very, very gross if you're able to pull it off correctly. Now, one of the things that we have a huge advantage on in how we've built this deck is we're not running a lot of non-attack actions. In other words, we are not running a lot of things that you worry about breaking your chain, right? Because remember, if you attack, and then do a non-attack, and then you do another attack, that's basically restarting your chain. So that's very important, I mean, especially for like the Mask of Momentum or something like that, which granted we're not playing in here, but it's relevant for something like Flying Kick as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, I do believe the deck's pretty set up to kind of autoplay around that, but it's just something to keep in mind for your future. I mean, to be honest, I don't know that there's. I think that's kind of the beauty of Ira here, is that she's pretty straightforward to play. All in all, you just need to make sure your timings are correct. And then, of course, on the defense side, you'll notice that it looks like there's a lack of defend reacts, but there's really not, right? Flick Flacks do a lot of work for you. Plus, they turn your combo cards into kind of beef sticks, right? But of course, remember that you have to appropriately set yourself up. But kind of the beauty of this too is you can kind of play the fatigue game with Ira that we've seen, where you can defend and you still get your stabby the next round, right? So I think in a very good position here. Again, I think this is a really fun deck to play because you get those stabs in and then you can try to swing for something big. They either take it or they defend, and it really helps you out going forward. So I think that with this list, and again, there's nothing in here that's higher than a rare. Stuff shouldn't be too hard to find, right? The biggest challenges in there probably are your Crane Dances and your Rushing Rivers, because those are from CRU. Because those are rares, the Soul Bead Strikes are common, so that probably shouldn't be as hard to find. And then again, most of the Ira starter deck cards were also reprinted in CU, or sorry, not starter deck, welcome deck. Most of those cards were also reprinted in CRU. So between open welcome decks out there and then the CRU influx, those are really, really easy to find around. And then do remember we have Head Jab as well out there that just plays for a go again. That can also help you do a lot of cool things with your, mainly like your Salt in the Wounds, but they can also help specifically trigger your vest, although the vest does have to, remember you have to hit for the vest, so just keep that in mind. All right, so some easy upgrades here that you may want to do. You could look at the additional combos. Specifically, I like the kick combo from Welcome to Wrathe. You could try that out as well and kind of play around with something else. I do think the Soul Bead combo thing's pretty good here, though. So be careful with what you do there. The other obvious, I mean, like we already kind of alluded to it many times, Mask of Momentum is probably your first purchase here, I would assume, right, to upgrade this. I mean, I realize it's not a small purchase. But again, this deck, it's pretty straightforward. So I think that if you make the swaps in and out, you should be able to tell if they work or they don't pretty quickly, right? So anyway, have fun with this. Like I said, this is just, targeted towards new players. Wanted to make sure there was a good list out there. The basic strategy we went over with kind of some, of the nuanced stuff, like trying to set yourself up for the flying kick to hit big. Again, don't forget Torrent of Tempo. It has to hit, but that means they also have to defend it. So it can work out for you pretty well either way. And that's also a 1, which means you can stab, swing, right? So pretty straightforward deck. I think a lot of fun. Let me know how it works out for you. Let me know if you have other suggestions for new players who may be coming looking at this, or players who are saying, "Wow, stuff's really expensive or hard to find right now," which it is for some people very hard to find right now. So trying to stick to a budget deck, something like this, I think can put you in a pretty good position. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Go Commando.